It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Monday morning to you. Welcome to the show. Ryan Nicholson, senior producer, doing his thing across the hall this morning. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text, 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group. Your next ride and your next service can be found at US 119 from Chapmanville to Logan to Belfry, Kentucky. Start your drive online at thornhillautomotive.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly on Spring Street. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Tailor, Virginia Street, Charleston. Visit bestmastertailor.com. Welcome to the show. Coming up a little bit later on, State Treasurer Larry Pack will be stopping by to talk about some news from his office as he gets settled into his new role as State Treasurer. We'll discuss some things going on there. Plus, former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones is here. And just when you thought it was safe to put up the snow shovel and the boots and so on and get out the flip-flops and fire up the grill, Mother Nature says, not so fast. My friend, a winter storm expected to roll in sometime around dawn tomorrow morning. Then a mix of rain in there. The guy that knows all about it's Bryan Hughes, meteorologist from Storm Tracker 13. We'll talk about him. Not talk about him. I do that all the time anyway. I'll talk to him coming up a little bit later on in the show. Plus, your calls and texts are always welcome, too. And I know a few people want to spend a little time talking about the Super Bowl, the commercials, whatever. You can text me with that, too. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text, 304-935-5008. Let's welcome to the show now, Delegate Kayla Young. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Happy Monday. The groundhog warned us about the snow.
Yeah, well, you had one groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil said we're going to have more winter, and then French Creek Freddy said no, and, Mother Nature going to Mother Nature. She's going to do what she wants to do.
For sure.
I'll talk about this with Bryan Hughes a little bit later on. I think a much bigger deal than snow is going to be the amount of moisture that we are going to get in an already waterlogged state.
Yeah.
And so eventually rain's going to move in, and we're going to have a whole lot of rain between now and maybe next Monday or so. But we'll talk to Bryan about that a little bit later on. Did you any comments from you on the big Super Bowl last night? Or?
I had great snacks.
That's all that matters.
So I was the winner. No, it was. I had a good time.
Yeah,
it was interesting.
Well, I was wrong in my prediction on Friday's show. I picked Kansas City to win 28-21. That's why I was definitely wrong about that. I think the Chiefs. And by the way, I appreciate everybody, all 571, that sent me the meme that said the Kansas City Chiefs identified as the Dallas Cowboys. I got a lot of that. So I appreciate it. Appreciate that from everybody. But all right, so a couple of days from the big show.
Yeah, session starts this Wednesday, everybody.
Interims going on.
Interims start today and tomorrow, and then we get into the real deal at noon on Wednesday, and then we'll have the State of the State that night. So hope you're ready for 60 days of chaos, as usual.
Is it going to be 60 days of chaos, in your opinion?
Who knows? It has been the last 4 years that I've been there, but we'll see. We have a new governor, so I do expect it to be somewhat different this year. The legislature looks a lot different, and lots of new members. I think there's like 30 or 40 new members total, and new governor. This is my first new governor, so.
Okay. Okay, yeah. And one thing about Governor Morrissey, I think, and this is not necessarily a criticism, it's just, I can't stand the term, it is what it is, but it is what it is. I think he's probably going to have a bigger presence around the Capitol than what the previous governor did. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. It seems as such. He seems to be a lot more transparent and, there. And he came from government in his last job. And so he kind of knows the lay of the land, which I appreciate, honestly.
So, Governor Morrissey's been in charge for a couple of weeks now. Early on, any thoughts from you on the administration so far?
I mean, he got straight to work. I appreciate that he's doing pressers quite frequently and that he's open to answering questions and talking to folks. I haven't met with him yet, so I don't have a huge personal opinion thus far. I think some of the stuff I'm really excited about. Some of it I think is a bit of a waste of time. So we'll see.
What's a waste of time in your opinion?
I mean, I think a lot of stuff that's mirrored from the federal level. I'm excited about the administrative stuff to go through and see what we're spending our money on, kind of the audit portion, and streamlining government, I think, is a really good thing. And we're doing that and walking and chewing gum at the same time, unlike the federal government. And so I'm excited about that piece. The social stuff, I couldn't care less.
Do you anticipate under this governor, or maybe I should say under this legislature, because you mentioned the number of new folks that are going to be in. Of course, there's a new leader over on the Senate side. Are you anticipating there will be more focus on social issues, the hot button topics? Or
yeah, that's what a lot of the members have made very clear are their issues. Same as the last few years, though, right? I think there's a large portion of people that either don't like government at all or just want to do social issues. But we always end up, the stuff, that's most of the stuff that's in the headlines. Mm-hmm. Most of our time is spent doing very boring things like making sure you still have roads and schools and all those guys. And
a lot of times is spent actually getting along.
That's right.
With the Republicans and the Americans. That again, and being a member of the media, we take the blame for that because it doesn't the things that you're working on with Republicans and so on doesn't necessarily get the headlines. But it happens a lot.
It does happen a lot. I've spoken to Republicans this morning already about some legislation, so it happens a lot.
What are you looking forward to with the State of the State Wednesday night, Delegate?
I'm just excited to see how different it's going to be. Honestly, I'm hopeful. I hope to hear some stuff about energy. I'd love to hear about childcare and how we can help reform our CPS system to make it better for kids around West Virginia. I just want to make West Virginia a great place.
Talking again with Delegate Kayla Young, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Live Healthy, West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy tackles pressing health issues of all types. It's a podcast offering insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles and beyond the state. Great resource. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetronews.com, to the podcast menu, and start your journey towards better health today. I'm going to have State Treasurer Larry Pack, Delegate, on immediately after you. And there seems to be some, I guess, discrepancy between the budget numbers that the former governor, now Senator Jim Justice, touted, and what now Governor Morrissey is saying, and Treasurer Pack was kind of in the middle of all that, and I'll have him on to talk about it. But where are you on all this on the budget numbers?
Yeah, I mean, I hope we're not all over the place so we could just look at the numbers and go from there altogether. But it seems like Justice was saying we were having a surplus in the current year budget, and then now Morrissey's saying we're going to have a huge default in the future year's budget. A lot of those are monies we knew were coming, like the Hope Scholarship, our school voucher program, which is going to cost at least an additional $125 million. The big deal, I think, is that this is the first year of a budget where we haven't had an influx of money from Washington, D.C. thanks to COVID funding. This is our first COVID-free year. And with a lot of our COVID funding, we did one-time spending that we're now going to have to continue to pay for, more things we've got to pay for that we didn't in the past because we had that influx of billions of federal dollars that just aren't there. And so, there's a lot of stuff we're going to have to pay for, which means we're going to have to make a lot of cuts. So I'm not excited about that. I don't know how we're going to do that with the proposed pay raises that the governor also mentioned that I'm fully in support of, but I don't know how we can do that and be fiscally responsible at the same time. We've had a flat budget for years, which once you factor in inflation and, the cost of having to get new stuff all the time, whether it be new technology or just paying for people's health insurance, we haven't raised the amount of money that we've been investing in our systems. And so we have a lot to pay for.
You mentioned earlier child care, and I know this is something that you're very passionate about, child care, child issues in general, foster care system. Are you hopeful that we can make some headway here?
I am hopeful, and it's a totally bipartisan issue. We've been working on it for a few years, and there's a lot to do. We have a lot of members of the legislature who are foster parents who have a great perspective on it, and so they bring a lot to the table. I'm actually working on a bill with Paris Hilton in the state to work on reforming some of our...
Wait a minute. Paris Hilton.
Yeah. The Paris Hilton.
The Paris Hilton.
Yeah, just got a bill. She got a bill passed in Congress, bipartisan, almost unanimous in Congress in December of, this past year. And now she's at the state level. She was at the state level, then went to Congress, and now is back at the states trying to get some stuff that passed for more transparency, because she was put in a facility when she was a child that was abusive and neglectful. And so she's trying to make sure it doesn't happen to other kids. And West Virginia actually has a really high rate of this happening. And so we're trying to tackle it. And I've got bipartisan support.
I had no idea about Paris Hilton. Of course, I'm not necessarily Paris Hilton. I mean,
there's a documentary, kind of those like scared straight places they used to have, and West Virginia has a pretty bad past with that, between that and boarding schools, and so we've got a lot of work to do in that area. But we're hopefully going to get it done. So I'm hopeful to see some CPS reform this year.
Before we let you go, I'm going to go ahead and just throw this out there to you and say, obviously you can do math and you know that you don't have a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
Does that make it more difficult? But as you said, you're one that's willing to reach across the aisle. But I mean, you don't have a lot of support as far as fellow Democrats.
Yeah, so my caucus has 9 in it in the House. It does make it really hard to do things. And the rules constantly change to make it even harder for us to do things. Because once we've realized we can get something over on them, they change the rules so we can't.
And something over on them?
Yeah, honestly. Like they're going to propose that we can't have signs anymore where we hold up a picture of a child that's died due to a law that we had. So that's one of the rules that they're going to change. That's going to be the first thing we do on Wednesday. And it's going to be a bit of a blowout. So that will be an interesting thing.
Now explain that again. Explain that.
So, in the past few years, we realized reading through our rules, so we govern ourselves on the House floor. And so the rules didn't say anything about having any sort of props or signs. So one year I started it by bringing a picture of my son because I was talking about the water crisis and he was an infant. So I just wanted to display that. So then over the years, we've had signs. We've had some members bring graphs of different things. There was a graph about unemployment and our rates and pertaining to a bill. So now this year there's a proposed rule that says we can't have any signs in there, meaning the members can't have any signs.
But can people in the crowd?
No, they won't be able to either. Nobody will be able to have signs. They already weren't allowed to, but we were, and so they're changing that, and I don't really understand why. But so just things like that. A lot's changing in the committee process. However, with our 9 members, we do work across the aisle. We do spend most of our year playing defense, but I think it's important for everybody within the Capitol to have a voice somewhere.
Where are you on the changes? And I promise I'll let you go after this. I just keep thinking of.
I'm happy to be here.
Thinking of more stuff. Where are you on the changes with the committee process, when the public hearings and things of that nature?
So
there's some changes.
I'm a little worried about getting rid of the public hearings because now only the committee chair will get to say who gets to speak. And I know the intention is that for that person to hear from both sides, but they have unilateral decision. They don't have to do that. So I'm a little worried about that. But overall, I think it's good to be more deliberate and slow down the process. I think we absolutely need that. So kind of taking time, and the taking of public testimony, I think will also be really good. There's a bit more transparency this year, and I've been fighting for that for a long time. So I think most of the new changes are good, not all.
Delegate Kayla Young, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Have a great session. We'll be talking to you throughout the session as it gets underway here in a couple of days. And you're always welcome on the show. Great to have you here. And don't forget, our guys are going to be at the Capitol. TJ and Dave. And TJ is going to be there pretty much every day. I think Dave Wilson will be there a few days. So you'll have to stop by the interview set there.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Happy Monday.
All right. Delegate Kayla Young. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Bridge Valley, offering custom-tailored trainings to supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu. We'll take a break. State Treasurer Larry Pack is here. Former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones coming up a little bit later on, and meteorologist Bryan Hughes, all right here on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
Banking is not just about numbers. It's about people. Are you connected? Without a community bank, your financial journey might feel lonely. And who will you turn to when life gets complicated? From checking accounts to loans, Poca Valley Bank has you covered. We are here to support you with personalized service and genuine care across our 8 locations. Poca Valley Bank, your community bank where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com for more information. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
Your next ride, your next service can all be found here on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Thornhill Auto Group, located on US 119. From Chapmanville, Logan to Belfry, our large selection of vehicles offers you the brand and style you're looking for. Total service, total savings. Our Thornhill certified staff and technicians are always ready to assist you with your next vehicle purchase or service needs. Start your drive online at thornhillautomotive.com. Come visit us today on the Thornhill Motor Mile.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars. Lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Seminar Sunday, February 16th at the Holiday Inn and Suites in South Charleston. Weight loss seminar starts at 11 a.m. Stop smoking starts at 2 p.m.
922 Piggly Wiggly Hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Poor indoor air quality can cause a variety of health issues, allergies, respiratory problems, and more. Pinnacle offers specialized indoor air quality services for residential, commercial, and industrial type settings. Visit pinnaclecorp.net, because what you don't know can hurt you. Text says, how awesome was it to see and hear over 65,000 people of all races, genders, classes, religions, and political parties united in a Country Roads sing-along. I do believe that State Tourism Secretary Chelsea Ruby is going to be on Talk Line with Wilson and Meadows coming up sometime later this morning, so it's going to be interesting to hear her take on that as well. Former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones coming up a little bit later on. Bryan Hughes is here to preview another winter storm headed our way. Larry Pack is here, State Treasurer. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Your take on the Country Roads thing, or anything related to the Super Bowl? You want to weigh in on any of that? And Lauren Daigle singing "America Beautiful" was absolutely the highlight of the night for me. Both of those were just absolutely fantastic. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I just got through the game part of it, but some of the commercials and again, Lauren Daigle, Country Roads, that was amazing. Yeah, I actually, and I know when it comes to the national anthem, people get really, some people like different versions, some people don't. I will say that the John Batiste version of the national anthem, I thought it was pretty good.
It was very good.
I thought it was very good. I want to start with the hard stuff with you, Secretary.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll get into other stuff, whatever you want to talk about. As State Revenue Secretary, you had a firm grip, I guess, on the checkbook of the state, and and then Governor, now Senator Justice, talked about the state in glowing terms financially. Governor Morrissey has kind of seen it in a little bit of a different light. You want to weigh in on that?
Well, I do. I think again, it's just a matter of priorities. I like to say it's a difference of maybe the difference between my wife doing her home budget and me doing my home budget. Everybody defines wants and needs differently. What was, Governor Justice in his 8 years of administration, he focused on certain things, focused on, on job growth, focused a lot on roads and infrastructure and on tourism. We'll be able to see Wednesday night what Governor Morrissey focuses on. So I feel very good that our budget, our financial situation is in good shape. We're in really good position, but again, we'll see how he puts it all together. It's a little bit hard to see exactly what he's seen. Because again, how you prioritize things. Anytime you go through a budget process, all the different agencies, there's a gazillion different ways to spend money. People with the ideas to spend money in the state capitol. What we'll see Wednesday night are the governor's priorities. West Virginia, from a financial standpoint, is in really good shape. Probably the best I've ever seen it in my lifetime. So we're going to be good. I look forward to seeing what Governor brings out on Wednesday night. And then we can all kind of comment on it and go forward.
I'm sure you still talk with now Senator Justice. How is he doing in D.C.?
He's loving it, absolutely loving it. Working shoulder to shoulder with the other Republican senators to appoint President Trump's team, working with President Trump, going to the White House, working on big issues for West Virginia. He's in a really good spot. He's really enjoying it.
Speaking of D.C. for a moment, it's been kind of a wild ride first couple of weeks with the former president, now current president Donald Trump back in the White House. And I know you're a big fan of his, so I take it that you're happy with what's gone on with the president in his short time in office so far?
Oh, I think it's just amazing. It really does show that he was prepared. He was ready. He has his team this time. When my wife and I went up to the inauguration, we got to meet a lot of people, a lot of the appointees for various secretary positions. These are very accomplished people, but these are not the run-of-the-mill people. These are not the Republican Goldman Sachs people versus the Democrat Goldman Sachs people that we've seen in the past. These folks are glass breakers. They're there to change things, to kind of move things around a little bit and go fast. So he's appointed, I think, some very accomplished people all across the federal government. They're moving so fast, it's hard to keep up with. I know I'm struggling a little bit to keep up with it, but I like what I see. Of course, I'm a financial guy, so I'm kind of drawn to a lot of the DOGE stuff, a lot of the uncovering of just wasteful spending that our taxpayers, our West Virginia taxpayers, whether they're Democrats or Republican, have sent money to Washington. And I think giving a good, clean look at that, thorough look is really, really good. There are overshoots sometimes. But again, they're not looking for things, like to cut Medicaid, to cut Medicare, to Social Security. They're just looking at swamp waste, and that's what they're finding, and they're finding a lot of it, and I'm absolutely enjoying it.
State Treasurer Larry Pack is here for Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Hudson's Pizza. It is heart-shaped pizza time. Order your 14-inch, one-topping heart-shaped pizza all month long. For only $14, dine in, carry out, or delivery. Find your nearest Hudson's at Hudson'sPizza.com. Talk about Elon Musk for a moment, sir. I mean, there's been a little bit of controversy here with Elon Musk, and he's kind of heading up this Doge thing. Matter of fact, I understand that I don't know that he's going to be there, but there's a possibility of his folks being in Parkersburg today. Some people have kind of got a little heartburn over that, saying he's unelected and he shouldn't have access to this. Where are you on that?
He's an envoy. He's an appointment of the governor or the president, right? So the presidents can, in the old days, we remember they used to appoint czars for this and czars for that. I think they're calling him an envoy. But it's just somebody that would take a fresh look about how we do government, how we spend money. I mean, only the federal government can get us into a $36 billion debt, right? That's what happens when you can print money and there's no one looking, no one kind of seeing what it is. I think a big part of what they're doing is just making sure people are showing up to work. There's a lot of rumors out there that a lot of these big buildings we're paying for, they're absolutely empty. There's a lot of rumors where people haven't shown up for work for years and years, maybe even have other jobs. That stuff's going to be exposed, and it needs to be exposed. The people in Wood County, that's a really big employer down there. But if they're not working and they're not showing up, taxpayers in Wood County don't want to pay for that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they find. They probably will overshoot a few times, but President Trump will bring them back in if they go too far, and so forth. But it's going to take someone with his expertise, with his knowledge, with Elon Musk's team, I think, really to find this. Our government is so big that it takes someone, again, I think, of his abilities to be able to help us identify waste. And if we can do that, we can slow down this spending, and we'll be doing a big favor for our kids and grandkids.
Let's talk about West Virginia in the midst of all this. I mean, again, there are, as we said, there are expected to be some folks from DOGE that are going to take a look at something in Parkersburg. But with the tariffs and things of that nature, and again, you're the financial guy, not me. So do you think that a lot of these things that President Trump is looking at are going to be beneficial for West Virginia in the long run? Are you concerned? Where are you there?
Well, I think we're watching what the tariffs are, but so much of the tariffs at this point has been to protect American jobs, right? Tariffs are fairness. It sounds to me like he wants to make sure if we're paying tariffs to some to a country, they're paying an equal amount to us. But it's all about putting America first. Some of it's negotiations, so he's trying to get these countries to play fair with the United States. So we have to see how it all shakes out and kind of watch what happens. But you can see how in his negotiation with Canada and Mexico, how that was basically part of a negotiation. Seemed like it got worked out fairly quickly. So President Trump is just on the move. He's worked really through this last 4 years to get ready for this time. I feel like he's making really good moves, but I have to admit some of it we're going to have to wait and let it shake out a little bit.
Again, we're talking with State Treasurer Larry Pack. So let's focus on your office. You got some. I mean, you're getting settled into the new role as State Treasurer. Just tell us about that.
Yes, sir. It's really been a whirlwind the last month to go from working for Governor Justice in the governor's office. It seemed like we're going in a lot of different directions to transition to the treasurer's office. But we've got a really good team. I'm very thankful for Treasurer Moore and the team he's put together. Really, and I'll have to give a shout out also to Treasurer Perdue. A lot of people are there from Treasurer Perdue, so it's a really good team. I'm learning what they're working on, trying to add value. in different places. Very excited to be there. It definitely fits my expertise, and so we're having a lot of fun with it. We're about 250 strong, so we kind of I think punch above our weight, but I'm really looking forward to it. One of the things I'd like to announce today is that as chairman of the State Board of Treasury Investments, I plan to urge the board to approve a policy that would divest funds from Chinese-owned companies. That's something that we want to make sure that our citizens can know that they can trust our office to make sure we're making the right decisions. But we in West Virginia need to take a stand against investing in countries that are considered bad actors. China definitely fits that bill. Like President Trump, I plan on putting American industry in West Virginia first. Divesting China is just good policy. So we have a meeting on February the 25th, and at that meeting I plan on making a motion to approve a prohibited foreign investment policy. And basically, if there's a company that is owned by the People's Republic of China, the Chinese Communist Party, or the Chinese military, will be prohibited from investing state funds in that. The Bureau of Treasury Investments is the short-term arm of the investments for the state, so we got about $10.5 billion of state taxpayer money in that. So this is the first step of a two-step process. In July, I become the chairman of the Investment Management Board. They invest the long-term part of the state's investments, mostly pension funds. So when I become chairman in July, we start working with that group. We've always had some discussions and see if we can't institute a similar policy there. But it's all about protecting our assets, protecting taxpayers' assets, make sure that we're investing properly and that we're not investing people that are working against our way of life.
Do you anticipate there'll be any pushback on this from anyone?
I don't think so. I mean, board members, whether you're a board member of the Bureau of Treasury Investments or the Investment Management Board, we have a fiduciary duty to make sure that we're being prudent investors. But I think there's a really good case to not invest in companies owned by the Chinese Communist Party. I think, again, it's good policy, and I think we'll get through that. Again, we've had discussions in both boards for months. So this will not be a surprise, but we'll be very prudent about it. We'll take our time, make sure we get the right policy in place.
State Treasurer Larry Pack, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. I appreciate you stopping by. I know you're a busy guy. I appreciate you being here.
It's always a blessing to be here, and give Mayor Jones my best when he shows up in a little bit.
All right, he'll if he catches you in the hall, you're going to be talking for a while. You realize that, don't you?
I understand that.
You may have to sneak out the back door.
No. I always like my mayor.
All right, Larry Pack, I appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot. Hang out with me 1 second. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Snap Fitness. Snap offers a wide array of professional wellness services, including customized personal training, licensed recovery experts, and a staff of dietitians. They have 5 great locations: Charleston, Hurricane, Winfield, Barbersville, and Milton. Visit snapfitness.com for details. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. What's going on with the most recent bout of winter weather? Going to talk to Bryan Hughes about that. Plus, Danny Jones is here too. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
According to Feeding America, over 7 million seniors nationwide were food insecure in 2022. West Virginia is no different. Hi, I'm Jason, President and CEO of Union Mission Ministries. For 113 years, Union Mission has focused on helping people in need. Right now, our senior citizens need our help. That is why Union Mission is partnering with local senior living facilities to get food delivered directly to those in need. Will you help us reach more seniors? Visit unionmission.com to learn more.
Love is in the air. Give your special someone something special this Valentine's Day when you secure your Valentine's Day loan from Members Choice WVFCU. Right now, you can get up to $1,500 with rates as low as 5% and 10 months to pay back. Make this holiday season one to remember and secure your Valentine's Day loan today. Apply today at memberschoicewv.com or visit us at 201 Ohio Avenue in Charleston. Loans are subject to credit approval. Additional restrictions may apply.
What if your high school junior or senior could graduate with a year of college already done? At Wynn Academy, they can. Students earn free college credits in nursing or advanced manufacturing while finishing high school, saving time and thousands in tuition. Spots are filling fast. Apply by March 4th at bridgevalley.edu/Wynn Academy. Win Academy, a year of college while in high school.
24 minutes away from 10. Bigley, Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. Let's go to meteorologist Bryan Hughes from Storm Tracker 13. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great on this post-Super Bowl Monday, except for the fact my Chiefs lost, but I thought they were probably going to anyways.
So you actually predicted Kansas City to lose. I did not.
Well, as much as I want to pull from my boy Patrick Mahomes, who is a Texas Tech graduate and just so you know, had like GPA of 3.8. I just knew that watching the Eagles 2 weeks ago, I was like, oh, this is not the team we want to face.
Yeah, I mean, nobody was playing better in the NFL than what the Eagles were the last 5-6 weeks of the season. Nobody.
Right.
Nobody was touching them.
Awesome. And congrats to them. Anyways, I'm also a Lions fan. I was there for the 0-16 season.
No, I get you.
Tailgated every home game.
All right. So what is this? I mean, here's the thing about this particular weather system, Brian. I mean, like back in January, for example, everybody knew it was coming, with the ice and the snow, and we suffered through that. But this is a little bit different because every model that I've seen, and I'm a bit of a weather geek, every model that I have seen is predicting something different. Even all the stations are predicting something different. So what say you, weather guy?
Believe me, I've seen a couple of the other things put out. I'm like, are you kidding me? Here's the deal. We need to proceed with caution on this. Because when you start on tomorrow morning and you see it snowing outside, and it's going to snow pretty heavy at a certain point for maybe an hour or two, you're going to go, oh, this day's ruined. I don't need to go out. And then all of a sudden the rain starts and you're like, oh, I guess I can go out today. That's what's going to be happening tomorrow as we have these snow showers that move in as we go into, it's about 7-ish. Matter of fact, actually, as I look at the forecast model that just came in here within the last 2 hours. I mean, once we get to, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, the snow line is just right on our doorstep, starting to work its way into Kanawha County. By 9 o'clock, I mean, we've got some pretty good snow. By 10 o'clock, guess what? The rain's starting to mix in. And then the rain takes over for the rest of the day, especially for the warm wedge, which, myself, Spencer Atkins, Chris Knoll, Joe Fitzwater, we were all texting back and forth. And, I straight up said, the wedge wins again today, or Tuesday, boys. So that's just period in the story. And everybody's like, yep, sure is. So by 10 a.m. tomorrow, the rain starts to mix in, and then we're done with the snow as far as accumulating for the rest of the day into the nighttime hours.
So how is it though again, I'm not trying to cause a weather war here, okay? No, but I mean, how is it that I just looked at the forecast from the National Weather Service, and it says for Charleston up to 8 inches of snow, 3 to 8, or 5 to 8, I think is what it said. But I mean, how can everybody look at something and come up with a different conclusion?
Well, and here's the deal. That I'm going to say this right now. That might be actually legacy text that should not be there right now.
Okay.
Because I only say that because their new models are now in line with what we are saying. As of this morning, which is Charleston's total will probably end up somewhere around 1 to 2 inches at best. 1 to 2 inches
at best, says Bryan Hughes.
At best, 1 to 2 inches at best, and that's going to be a slushy snow because you're going to have that snow that'll snow between 7 and 10 o'clock in the morning, and then by 10 it's switching over to rain, and that rain's going to take over. So, and that wedge is going to win all the way up to Clarksburg. It's where it'll be a slushy 1 to 2 inches almost to Clarksburg.
And it's not going to be really cold enough, from what I understand in watching you this morning, for us to worry about like a hard refreeze or something later in the night. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're not going to have anything that's going to be, anything that's going to refreeze, cause ice problems in our area. The only thing that'll be icing will be Greenbrier Valley, and that's going to be on Wednesday evening into the nighttime hours. But that's so far away from us. It's really more removed than anything. But this storm is more bark than it is bite. As a matter of fact, I was just in my morning meeting with the news department. I said bark is loud, bite is not much on this. But I'm concerned as a collective whole about the amount of moisture that we're going to be getting, because we'll see, an inch worth of rain maybe out of this here, a half inch to an inch. But then you add up what's going to happen, going into Wednesday and then this weekend, and that's just a lot more water that we do not need.
I mean, that seems to be the bigger issue here is that not necessarily the snow, but the amount of moisture, with the rain and everything, because we've had a whole lot, Brian.
Oh man, listen, when I can stand in the pilot house of my boat and look down upon my street, we got problems. Right. So that's what I'm looking at.
So again, give us the timeline tomorrow morning, because I know a lot of folks like myself, we hit the road. I leave my house around 7 or so in the morning, maybe plan on leaving a little bit earlier, or is it even going to create any problems on the roads?
I would think that tomorrow you leaving at 7 or even maybe at 7 to 7:30, you're going to be fine getting into work. 8 to 9 o'clock, that's when snow will be at its quote-unquote heaviest and worst. But that's when we're going to have, it's starting to pile up. But then by 9, 10 o'clock, we start to see a transition over to rain showers. So if you want to go out for lunch at noon, you have no fear. It's going to be just wet.
All right, Brian, appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
You as well. The Dave Allen Show and 580 Live, presented in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. It's going to be a great season of Dirty Birds baseball over at Go-Mart Ballpark. Tuesdays are $2 Tuesdays with $2 tickets, popcorn, hot dog, sodas, and more. Wednesdays, bring your dog to the park for Woof Wednesday. Thursdays, Thirsty Thursdays with $1 beers and water. Fridays are Freebie Fridays with free giveaways. Fireworks after the game on Saturdays, and Sundays, Family Fun Days. Kids 12 and under get in for free. For more, visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com. Let me knock out a couple texts here. Hey, look who's here. It's Danny Jones. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine.
All right, I'll get to you in just 1 second. Texas saying the stadium, or even half of the stadium, was singing Country Roads is a bit indulgent. The multiple camera shots showed most people talking to each other as a handful sang the West Virginia national anthem. Texas Larry Pack wants to divest from China. Larry Pack wants to continue to kill the coal industry, says a texter. Text says, does Pack think our vets are suckers and losers and it's okay to sexually assault women? Says a texter. West Virginia, says the texter, has done great under Biden. Lots of good jobs came here. What Trump is doing is going to cost West Virginia coal jobs. All right. Hey, man. How you doing?
Man, you got some Trump haters texting this show.
I do. I don't know. They're nameless people, Danny. They just text the show, and I just read it, man. I just read it.
Yeah. Well, Larry Pack doesn't approve of any of that.
Well, I mean, saying that Larry,
he's one of my closest friends.
I was going to say, saying that Larry Pack is somebody who's going to cost West Virginia jobs. I mean, I'd have a hard time going along with that.
Trump and Musk are both disruptors. And that's what's going on now. And change is tough. Change is tough, especially big change. And that's what I say maybe the beginning of, if they go through with it, dismantle the Department of Education.
That's going to be next, they say.
Well, I went to school when there wasn't any Department of Education. Mm-hmm. And now there's a disproportionate number of eighth graders in our country that can't read. And that's with the Department of Education. So I'm what's missing here? And plus, it would save $2.5 trillion between now over 10 years. And this country is broke.
Don't pay attention to him. That's just TJ Meadows. He just comes in and hangs out from time to time. What about FEMA? Because I heard over the weekend that Trump is saying, he was talking about the situation, and let's face it, the response with FEMA is not always the best in the world. West Virginia will a lot of listeners will say the same thing. I'm not trying to totally throw them under the bus, but when you look at California, you look at what happened in Western North Carolina with the remnants of the hurricane. He's saying that FEMA could be on the chopping block too. What do you think?
There's nothing to replace it with, David. And my experience, I was emergency services director for Charleston for a year, and FEMA was a godsend. I mean, it was, they would come in, set up tables, have applications. They hire people from all over. And by the way, National Travel, they are the travel agency for the entire FEMA in the country. Mm-hmm. So whenever they travel, they go through Charleston, West Virginia. My experience is good. If it's changed or if they need a new director or it's Trump's call.
Yeah. I think you would agree, Danny, and you and I have talked about this in the past, that Trump is somebody who thrives on chaos. And he comes in and he says a lot of things And he knows that some of them aren't going to happen. I heard over the weekend, I think on one of the shows, somebody said it's like throwing spaghetti against the wall.
Yeah.
You know it's not going to stick, but there might be one little stain that goes down the wallpaper. You're not always the biggest Trump fan in the world. I certainly am not always the biggest Trump fan in the world. But what do you think about the Hurricane Trump that's come through in the first couple of weeks?
I'm not surprised. And what he's doing, David, he's occupying the space. Biden occupied no space. Trump's occupying all the space, and except for Musk. These guys are occupying. He has a press conference every day, and he does it from the Oval Office, and the guy hands him an executive order to sign and tells him what's in it, and he does why, and then he takes questions from the press. I mean, there's a part of this the press has got to love because they've got something to do, and they don't have a president in hiding.
And basically, I mean, that's what you had because I mean, you had Joe Biden, who wasn't out in front of the public, and then later we learned why. And then even when you look at Kamala Harris, for the longest time, she wasn't accessible to the press, even to her people in the Democratic Party, saying, "Look, you have got to get out and talk to people."
Well,
so it's kind of carryover.
At the risk of offending somebody, she didn't say anything when she did get out. I mean, I was never impressed with her, and they should have put somebody else up, in my opinion. I think Governor from Pennsylvania would have been a great candidate for the Democrats.
A lot of people thought that, yeah.
But he's probably too conservative, too practical, too fracking, and quite frankly, Jewish. And I think that's the part of the Democrat Party that I am seeing change. And it used to be the anti-Semitism used to be on the right, and now part of it is on the left.
Talking to former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones, Sex says the same people that are afraid of DOGE wanted to hire 87,000 additional IRS agents to audit you.
Yeah, I'm glad that's not going to happen. I mean, we don't need any more federal employees. Really.
What do you think about Morrissey's first couple of weeks in office?
I don't know who or what to believe. I mean, he seems like he's doing okay to me. I don't know about the numbers.
There seems to be if you heard my interview I did with Larry Pack a little bit earlier, and I was at the legislative look ahead on Friday, which I'm going to go on Talkline and talk about a little bit later on. There seems to be, I mean, on one hand, you had Governor Justice, now Senator Justice, and you had Larry Pack talking about this is, the state's in as great a financial shape as it's ever been in. Then Morrissey comes in and says, well, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's hold on a little bit. I mean, you're a guy who studies this stuff. What do you think?
Did he say we were $400 million underwater?
Is that what he's – yeah, it was $400 million, yeah.
There's a big discrepancy there.
Well, Larry said, and he said this on the air this morning also at the legislative look ahead, he said it's the difference between me talking about the budget in the House and my wife talking about the budget in the House, meaning people can take a look at the same numbers and draw different conclusions from them.
I think we're going to have to wait and see what he says. He'll give a state of the state, I assume.
Yeah, Wednesday night.
And we'll listen to see what he says and how he couches it and find out what his truth is.
Former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones is here. Older adults should protect themselves against severe respiratory disease. Talk to your doctor about flu, COVID-19, and RSV vaccines. Risk less, do more. Get started at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Quick text before we go to break. Remember, says the texter, these Marxists that have taken over the Democrat Party in Congress that are freaking out over DOGE audit of our money are the same people who passed a bill requiring payment companies and cash apps like Venmo and PayPal to report payments you make of $600 or more. They have not 1 ounce of shame at all. And why aren't a lot of people, including myself, that's why, says the texter, a lot of people walked away from that bunch. We're going to take a break. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
For your build or restoration, you can always count on us. Professional service and dedication, Charity's the name to trust. Saving you more, saving you time, providing quality building and design. Right on time, right on budget. Call on
No matter where you are never far from a Par-Mar store. From gas to groceries and everything else you need, your local Par-Mar store has it. Sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card and download the Par-Mar Stores app for even more savings. With well over 230 stores in 6 states, you are never far from Par-Mar. Visit parmarstores.com and follow them on your favorite social media app. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Download the free Metro News TV app to watch the voice of West Virginia in the comfort of your living room. See Talkline with Dave and TJ, Sportsline with Tony Caridi, Three Guys Before the Game, along with live events right on your smart TV or streaming device. Get the Metro News Television app from the Apple App Store or Google Marketplace. Metro News Television is powered by
Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, the University of Charleston, the High Technology Foundation, and Performance Chevrolet.
As retirement approaches, are you confident in your financial plan? At 4th Avenue Financial, they specialize in helping you to prepare for this important milestone. Whether you're concerned about income, investments, or leaving a legacy, John Burnett provides personalized strategies to ensure a secure and fulfilling retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Trust 4th Avenue Financial to help you retire right with confidence. Your financial goals, their expert guidance. Visit them today at 4thavenuefinancial.com.
Securities offered through Jenny B. Cole Financial Incorporated. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Jenny B. Cole Advisors Incorporated.
We got 8 minutes away from 10. Piggly Wiggly Hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. In the heart of West Virginia, there exists a profound force that goes beyond the realm of sports, transcending limitations, fostering a sense of belonging. Special Olympics, a remarkable initiative showcased in the latest episode of West Virginia Enriched in collaboration with Huntington, stands as a testament to the power of determination, unity, and unwavering support. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics, facebook.com/580WCHS. Texas Dave Vance says we should do away with federal judges, that Trump should have free reign to do whatever he wants. Danny, you want to weigh in on that?
Trump should have free reign to do what with federal judges.
He says that Vance says we should do away with federal judges and that Trump should have free reign.
That's not going to happen. That's a joke.
Danny says a texter, being against the idea of terror bombing Palestinian civilians doesn't make someone anti-Semitic.
Well, war's war. And this war was not started by the IDF. And it was started by the Hamas and the people that are down there, and they've been messing with kites and everything else. There's lots going on there that people didn't make the news, and they've been harassing Israel for years, and it's time to put a stop to it. And war is war.
War is war, indeed.
Yeah.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Meeks Realty Group. You can unlock your dream property. Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, they have Charleston to Huntington covered. Meeks Realty Group, your journey home begins with them. Contact Rich the Realtor, 304-932-7488, or email rklein with a K at meeksrealtygroup.com. Speaking of real estate, I want to get your opinion on this, Danny. It was announced a couple of weeks ago that one of the anchors of the Charleston Town Center, JCPenney, was going to be closing their doors in May. Another hit to the town center, and you certainly remember it as well as I do.
When it opened.
You better than me. Remember the thriving Charleston Town Center of the 80s and 90s.
I had a business downtown, and it took about 25% of my business.
Is it done? Is the town center done in your opinion?
Yeah. And the owner acts like he wants it to be done. I've never seen anything like this. When Penny's first thing, I think Penny's, if it's like it was when they opened, they own that property. And they had a catalog store.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's for the internet or all that. And they had a catalog store just like Sears and Roebuck had a catalog store. And people used to go in there and look through the book and order stuff. And now it's down to nothing. And it's really sad. And it just from where I sit, it doesn't look like anybody's getting any encouragement to stay there. I'd have kept those restaurants there if I had to give them free rent.
You mean as mayor you would have done that? Or?
Well, can't do it as mayor of the owner, but I don't know what the owner's agenda is.
I mean, this if you look back at some other properties that the whole group has done, this is kind of, from my research, this is kind of their modus operandi. I mean, this is kind of what they do. They come in, and I had the owner of the mall, Mr. Hull himself, on the show with the mayor Mayor Goodwin when the announcement was made, and it was, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and here we sit, and
we're going to do what?
I mean, we're going to build it. We're going to make it. This was whenever the announcement was made 2-3 years ago, and they've done basically nothing with it, and
it's
now
made it worse.
It's now it's just a shell. There's just, I don't even know how many stores are even. I can't even tell you. And I work in downtown Charleston, Danny. I can't even tell you the last time I was in the town center. It's been a year. Probably.
You've got some stores up there on the third floor that, like, what's the chicken place? What's the religious place?
Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A. They're still making it.
Are they still there?
Yeah. Oh, no, they do a good business.
That should tell you how much
and some of those stores are making it. But I don't know what other stores are doing well, or it's just a matter of time for them. But what is he going to do with it if he's just let it empty out?
I don't know. Speaking of food, right across the street from where you hang out, Courier Diner has opened up again.
They are killing them.
I mean,
they are doing so well.
They had a grand opening on Friday. I didn't get a chance to attend. I was at the Capitol, but I know our news team was over there and did a little story on it. I had lunch there about a month or so ago. Pretty good stuff, and it's a great shot in the arm for Charleston to have that place.
It's exciting, and all people wanted was a good restaurant. They wanted to go there because the QD. I mean, I went there when I was 4 years old, and it was going to be the first place to have liquor by the drink. When twice it went in front of the voters, and twice it was turned down. Mm-hmm. And then we have that private club liquor law, which is completely unconstitutional. If you read the state constitution, it's unconstitutional.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Text says, great to hear Danny on this morning. He has a world of historical information and common sense. You got common sense, Danny.
Yeah. And to the anti-Israel guy, when the Civil War ended, when Sherman set Georgia on fire, and Dresden, they bombed Dresden in the World War II. That was a totally city that wasn't hurting anybody over in Germany. Mm-hmm. They set it on fire, killed 25,000 people. It's war. That's what happens in war. Now, if the Hamas wanted to keep their government and keep everything the way it was, they shouldn't have attacked Israel.
Danny, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and I appreciate it. And I agree with the texture. You do have a wealth of historical information and common sense.
Thank you.
And I think that you ought to talk to the folks at Courier Diner and go back there and cook a little bit.
No,
I'm saying
they know what they're doing. They don't need me.
But adding some of that chicken soup that you made,
they know what they're doing.
Would be good. I'm just saying.
They know what they're doing.
All right. TJ Meadows is here. Danny, hang out with me 1 second. TJ, what's on the big show today?
I'm really bringing the IQ level down on this show this morning. Let me tell you. Brad Mack starts us coming up 10:06 with the legislative preview. 10:33, Matt Lewis, columnist and podcaster, will join us. He says Trump's just doing what he said he's going to do. Why is everybody so surprised? 11:06, my man Dave Allen in studio.
That guy?
That guy.
Okay.
Talking about the legislative preview as well. And then we'll talk about Doge in Parkersburg. Doge in Parkersburg. We'll get into that story as well.
All right. If you haven't already done so, download the Metro News TV app and also the WVRC Media app as well. And a reminder that you can catch this show and all the shows on the station pretty much in a podcast version. Listen to them on your schedule. Coming up tomorrow, new delegate Ann Sharnock is here, Doug Scaff is here, and Judge Mary Claire Akers on tomorrow's show. See you on Talk Line later. Have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes.
A WVRC media station.
We're proud to live here, too.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.